enforcement, hey, they learn through Columbine these active threat situations, how to respond. And you've got these really good active shooter programs for law enforcement, but they don't really do much in regards to fire and EMS. And so we saw a lot of individual agencies trying to kind of piecemeal something together. And even that was existing on just a strictly fire and EMS side of the house. So I saw we needed to bridge that gap. How can we get there sooner to save lives, prevent the dying? Because that's the key, right? Law enforcement's trying to stop the killing. EMS and fire is trying to stop the dying. So we need to put those two entities together, and that's what we're trying to accomplish with EPIC.
By getting to see both sides, the EMS and the law enforcement side, and do the practical of both, that brings it to life in that we can see what each other's doing and know what to expect. EPIC,
Emergency Preparedness Instructional Center, and what we're trying to accomplish with that program is bringing together all aspects of public safety. So when we train, it's no longer, all right, EMS is going to learn over in this area, and law enforcement here, and fire somewhere in between, and then try to bring all those entities together in a real world situation. That's too late. Instead, what we want to do is train everyone together as that cohesive response.
Very worthwhile. We're laying the groundwork for a rescue task force in our area. We don't even have such training or plan yet. We're working with the local municipality, Danville Fire Department, and orchestrating this with the Danville Police Department. So money well spent to come up. It was worth every dime, every minute, because this training is not available in our area.
Good experience. We're trying to get the rescue task force operational in our area, and just having this training and being able to take this back to our members and try to further it.
So from every point of view, they see the other person, the other agency's way of doing things. So when they come together, it's not the first time. Instead, that's how they've trained throughout this process. And we're looking at everything from the active threat situations to setting and helping them run drills, emergency management through, let's say, a natural disaster. How can we combine those different agencies as one cohesive response and then train them up to that standard?
The concept that they did, the baby steps going through different scenarios, single base scenario, working up to a mass casualty scenario was very beneficial. I think a lot of people got a lot out of it.
Here at Shenandoah, we have trained role players who know from beginning to end how they should behave based off of data, based off of prior interviews with other people who've experienced this in real life, and they're able to convey that in a way that no one outside of that can.
The idea of having real role players as opposed to firefighters and police officers, kids trying to fill in a role was excellent.
The active players from the university, having those there doing the real live interaction is probably the most realistic portion of it that you can put into it.
It was very good. I mean, it was very well planned. The actors did a fantastic job. It was very realistic.
Great. Very realistic. And when you train in such a nature, or the nature of the beast dictates you have to train like you fight, if you will. So the realistic training, when you get into the real world, the scenario won't quite be as overwhelming, I guess would be the word I'm looking for, because we've already been through some live scenarios.
That's what we're looking for, that stress inoculation. I want to expose people to as real an event as possible in training, in a safe environment. So when it really happens, they're not panicking. They're not reacting off emotion. Instead, their brain kicks in, the logic kicks in and goes, okay, hey, we've been here before. This is how we're going to respond.
Absolutely amazing, phenomenal. There was things that we could learn, you know, as being law enforcement. A lot of us don't get to see the EMT side. So this was an absolute phenomenal class.
This class was very beneficial. The networking with neighboring jurisdictions as well as jurisdictions from throughout the state, both Virginia and West Virginia, was very beneficial. At the breaks we were able to do some networking, and the class itself was very informative.